Do you remember Suzanne Somers of Three's Company fame? Well, she passed away about 2 years ago. And what we're finding out now is that her husband, Alan Harmer, requested that an AI twin be created of her after she died in 2023. And he claims that she requested this 35 to 40 years ago. I'm not even kidding. It says on Tuesday, he told the Post that the idea for an AI twin of Somers started decades ago. He says about 35 to 40 years ago, he recalled the actor saying, I would really feel, this is him saying she said this, I would feel really good about having a Suzanne Somers AI twin representing me.
I hate this.
This sounds like a man who really loves his wife and cannot accept reality.
Yeah.
I don't know if Suzanne Somers 35 years ago would have used the vernacular AI twin.
No, the way it's phrased sounds completely false.
So it says he confirmed.
She probably said, like, if you could upload my consciousness.
So the first thing I thought of, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was the trend around cryogenics and, you know, Walt Disney freeze the head so that when we've conquered the death barrier, we can bring each other back, and that's like kind of the place that we're at now. We got a 20 here from Pete Donovan. Oh, we got two 20s here. He says, Pop Culture Junkie says, remember, a streamer's prime metric for a show. Does it attract and keep subscribers? Streamers are the chum prevention, are in the chum? Oh, churn? I thought it said chum. No, you're right. It's churn. No, it's churn prevention business. In this metric, Rings of Power is at the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, the more I read through this article, the more it is
scary,
just deeply uncomfortable.
There's a Pete Donovan 20. Thank you, guys. It says, fun fact, the Beatles could have been the first to make a Lord of the Rings movie, but Tolkien's estate said no. Years later, McCartney told Peter Jackson it was for the best that it didn't happen so that Jackson could do them first. Well, that's, you know, as you get more rungs down the ladder in the family lineage, they care less about what was created before them. So your kids may carry on and care deeply about something that your parents created, but once you get down to the grandkids and the great grandkids, it becomes about money. Unfortunately. So
and that's the upsetting thing. Like if I were Christopher Tolkien, I understand why he passed it down to the other members of the Tolkien family, but like if I were him, I would have given all creative decisions to a group that's more dedicated to preserving his story.
I mean, I think it should just die. I think when your art is done and you die, I think it should die. Like
maybe.
Even because here's the thing, even if you pass it down to a group that wants to that believes in preserving the image of something like that, they're still not your ideas. There's somebody else's interpretation of what they believe your ideas would be, and that is just a couple of steps away from how these studios view it when they buy up the IP and they say we're going to respect their wishes. Well, you don't know what their wishes are, and even if you know what you think they would believe, that doesn't mean that you do. And in a lot of ways, I think that it shouldn't go on.
That's the weird legality about IP, though, is because like if you sell it, you sell your right to control it,
and that's different, right?
Where's the? Oh, there it is. I knew it was coming.
Dancing. Thank you. Somebody's dancing. Mary would be very proud. Okay. So
you gotta keep the vibes going.
I know.
According to this article, it says that the AI was able to recall events from their marriage and the entirety of her career, and they tied this to a Realbotics robot to make it look like her. So here's the image. There's the image of what it looks like.
I hate it. I hate it. Scroll down. Show them the part where they took the face off.
Yep.
Yeah. Did we learn nothing from iRobot?
Also says that they want to use the AI to recreate create new episodes of Three's Company. I'm like, so is this a cash grab? Like, I'm sure you've got money. Is this a cash grab? They just want to make money?
It's so deeply uncomfortable.
That's a crazy way to cash grab if it is.
And it also doesn't look good enough.
No.
Like what are you gonna do? Is it gonna be CGI?
The logic would be like in 5 years as this technology advances faster and faster.
You also have to remember the average eyesight of the people who would care about more Three's Company episodes.
They're like, Looks
I just is for the past 3 years, just constantly on repeat in my mind has been your scientists were so busy figuring out whether or not they could that they didn't stop and think about whether or not they should.
I wrote that in my notes.
Yeah, like I'm so creeped out by everything happening right now.
The thing about this is though is it's kind of like mission creep, which is like to us it's weird, but by the time like we have kids. It's going to be even less weird to them. And by the time they have kids, these types of things will just be seen as a logical extension of your existence.
I just want to know what they think the end goal is.
I don't think they're thinking about an end goal. I think it's mostly...
I think there's probably somebody exploiting Alan Hamill's like grief.
He says, I think she would smile a lot and be really happy about it, he says, of the AI twin. She would endorse it. I'm happy about it. My family is happy about it. Like, I feel like that's not to be mean, but it's a bit of cope for the fact that you're mourning the loss of your wife. And the only way to kind of do that is to find a way to go on, for something to go on in her memory. Now, a lot of times that goes, those are sometimes manifested in more positive ways. Like a lot of times it's like somebody goes into charity work that they think somebody would care about because they think that that's something that person would truly be interested in, or they carry on with the work that they did prior. But depending on how much you anthropomorphize it, in something like this, it really does just feel like it's somebody's grief and it's coming out in a very techno way.
Yeah, and it feels a little bit parasitic.
Yes.
To, endorse this and work with it. It's like somebody should have stepped in and been like, hey, man, like maybe this isn't the best idea.
Yeah.
Like it's great to remember her and it's great to love her, but this might not be good even for your own like mentality and mental health.
So it says Alan Harnell was it Harnell or Hamill? It was Harnell. Was my wonderful husband, 55 years, the digital twin said. During the exhibition this month, he's my partner in everything from life to love, and we've shared so many beautiful memories together. Like, I imagine if the voice mimics spot on and you are grieving in the way that you are, that's a very, very powerful thing to experience.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's so weird. This feels like a horror movie. This feels like the beginning of a horror movie.
I don't know how you could like have such a level of suspense of disbelief that you don't recognize it as just an algorithm spitting back your dead wife's like words to you.
Well, the point is
because you want to believe.
I know, but it's crazy.
It's like when a psychic predicts things that you know that they couldn't possibly know, and like if you don't believe in any type of mysticism or third sight, second sight, whatever it is, logically that most of the time, all of the time, they are some form of con men. They can cold read very well, but it's the Mark's desire to believe something like that to be true that charlatans prey on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and like I've even thought, I wonder, I love my dog. I wonder if I should clone my dog so that once my dog passes, I can still have my dog. And even then, I'm like, but it wouldn't still be Archie.
No,
it would be a dog that looks exactly like him and maybe even behaves exactly like him, but it's not.
Well, that's the crazy thing I think people forget about cloning is like you can clone the DNA, but you're not going to be able to clone the sequencing of the neurons that occurred from how they develop. Like even if you somehow manage to clone yourself, it's going to be a different person by the time it reaches your age.
But the thing is, we've talked about this before in the relation to people who get addicted to relationships with like AI chatbots, is that for the next generation and on, they spend so much of their existence in front of a screen that most of their human connection is digital in some way, shape, or form. So you can't even actually think of it as like a digital recreation of something mammalian. It's just a computer algorithm spitting back the information they would say. And if all of your interactions were through pixels, how is that any different than if it was that person speaking on the other end of the screen to them?
We're willingly letting ourselves go into the Matrix. So in order to not do that, go outside.
The best thing you can do is go outside and go do something in the real world.
No, as everybody knows, the best way to escape the Matrix is to go to the Bali time chamber and work out shirtless with other dudes and eat steak off of a cutting board.
That is true.
This is also true.
That is true.
Everybody knows.
You have to do that, and you have to own a Bugatti.
Yeah.
And very, very nice cars, and move to Romania.
Yes. Moving to Romania is really step one here.
In Minecraft.
I don't know, like...
And talking with an accent that is completely indecipherable as to where it came from.
I think it's fair to point out also that for somebody of that age, it's kind of crazy to think that they would be amenable to something like this. But as this technology becomes better, more and more people that are younger, my age, for instance, once they've grown, old, and a spouse dies, it's going to become even more common for stuff like this. And so these companies, the AI companies, the robotics companies are lobbying heavy in government right now to allow their work to continue. I guess AIs is mostly about their ability to do machine learning without paying for what they're doing, right? Is from what I understand that most of the AI lobby is to allow them to, train their machines on publicly available information, not have to pay for it. But as everybody's seen, do you guys watch the Studio Ghibli stuff going on Twitter this week?
Bit, yeah.
With all of the pictures and stuff like that. In 5 years, it's going to become even harder to tell the difference between fake and real.
Yeah, I don't like how fast it's progressing. I don't like how good it looks. Like, the fact that the Will Smith eating spaghetti video is only like 3 years old,
and now it's
almost
one? Yeah. There's like a new one that's like way better.
It's almost indiscernible from reality. Like, again, there is no world in which any perceived benefit of this outweighs the negatives.
You know what the only benefit of this is it's going to destroy the abilities of the internet to be involved in things that matter outside of the internet. Like, they're no longer... We will get to a point, I think, within 10 to 20 years where anything that happens online will be discredited in anything related to business, politics, or anything like that, because there will be no good discernible way to tell whether or not it's real.
Yeah.
So nobody will care.
Yeah, and then what happens to criminal justice and things like that when there's, you need a video of something to prove something happened, you're a corrupt prosecutor. What happens then?
It's going to go back to the way it was before video was invented. Unfortunately.
Yeah, there are no upsides to this.
No.
Sam Altman is going to be viewed as one of the worst people to ever live, and for good reason.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.